Oh yeah, it's Xavier here down the bottom of the garden, and I've had a little bit of a break from filming, but a few things have come up, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is when we make mistakes. In the end, I've always said all along that although I do a lot of bonsai, I am still relatively amateurish, can't even spell correctly or say correctly, and that means that sometimes some of the stuff I do isn't quite how others would do it. It's not a problem, it's my hobby, so if you have any issues with anything or the way I do stuff, I'd love it if you'd write comments, especially if it's suggestions on how to do things better. But I know there's a few comments here and there that are quite constructive. More than happy with that. I don't mind you doing that, so carry on, please do that. One of the things I do have a big habit of doing is trying to pot stuff into bonsai containers far too early, and this applies to things like this. It's a little Trident Maple, and you could say that they could do well in these pots, but and they probably could, to be fair, actually, but in this instance what I'm recognizing is that I actually want these to get bigger, and truly I intended to pot them up. So what I'm going to do now is, I know we're right at the back end of spring, they've already had a little prune. I'm going to do a definite slip pot onto these and put them into these big old things that I've got the olives in. Both of these could be really good trees, but I want them bigger. And for the last 2 or 3 years I've wasted time keeping these pots thinking they're sweet little trees, but they're potentially going to be a lot better trees in these pots. So I'm going to take them out of what I'd call the completed stage, and grow them on. And by doing that, it means then I might also be able to resolve the issue I have here with 3 branches coming out the main trunk plus 2 branches from the same point. So next year I might actually remove one of those, but yeah, I see this, I'm going to let this go, really let them both go, and come back to them in a couple of years time. So these might be projects you'll see if I'm still on the net. But anyway, so we'll just quickly do that now. Then after that I'm going to be doing a little bit of work on my yew, and again it's another one where I was going to talk to you about, you know, when we call stuff bonsai, is it truly bonsai, or is it within the field of making something become a bonsai? So I'll talk about my yew, and I've also got a marmee larch that I'm going to do some quick pruning on. So all I've done, basic, very basic soil mix. It's 50-50. So all we'll do, we shall take number 213 with my unofficial Karma. Okay, so got some roots under there, so it's starting to get pot bound anyway. I'm going to just take the obvious weeds out, but I'm not going to remove any roots. What is on the surface I might try and just tease outwards. And when I say that, literally these surface ones, they're quite dry looking, just tease them out, don't remove any. Okay, so not ideal, and this does of course come with danger. If you look at those, they were actually very dry, and I'd almost not the healthiest looking roots. And then all I'm going to do, water that in, put that in a very shaded part of the garden, and let that go to town. Exactly the same for this one. Yeah, you can see it's not the healthiest, and the fact that it's just not And this one, although it may create problems later on, oh gosh, that is a terrible, terrible state. That is absolutely terrible state. Okay, I mean, I think it was pretty clear when you looked at that one that the root structure was just dying. I should have repotted both those in the early part of the spring. I don't think, although we've got some growth on there, certainly wouldn't have got any better through the summer, and I know this one would have suffered, so throwing the dice. Same thing. I've cut the roots on this one, so we'll see what happens. But give it a good watering, keep it somewhere cool, and just see what happens. I mean, they are pretty resilient trees in the end. I've had some surprising results from emergency repots, but sometimes, you know, you get things in the wrong order, you do things the wrong way, and you have to just try and see what you can salvage. Certainly, that's an example of me waiting too long to check on the health of a tree. Alright, so I'll move on to something else now. Cheers. Okay, well, after that debacle with the two small tridents, I say, fingers crossed they're all going to work out alright. I've watered them right in. I'm going to move on to the English yew, Taxus. Now's a good time to do some pruning, so we can start picking some buds and move these on. Now again, I think often, you know, some people may refer to them already as bonsai. There's nothing here that I would call bonsai material, bonsai yet. Probably the closest we've got in the development style is this one. We've got a lovely trunk, some dead wood area there. Started to get some branch layer and structure, so this one is probably the one we'll work on first. And this is definitely what I put in the Potensai ranks. Some of these are also examples of, again, taking young trees and putting them into bonsai style dishes far too early. And this is an example, you know, I wanted to create the impression of a bonsai already, and actually what I've done is, although we've got lovely growth and there's a good root system in there, it's stunted in its development style. If I had that in a much deeper training pot, then I'd get a lot more developmental growth out of it. But that doesn't mean we still can't do stuff with it. So I'm going to go around, do some basic pruning techniques on this, and have a look. You know, overall, we've got certainly some interesting. We've got lots of fresh growth on them now. So now it's time to do some probably quite heavy cutting. These I bought from a local nursery. Gosh, 2016 or 2017. I bought 7 or 8, and I think I got them all. They were all sort of like £2. I think there were 3 in a pot, and the pots cost £5, so £10–12 worth here. They've been potted a couple of times in different things, and to be fair, again, English yew was something I wasn't entirely sure on how to deal with. I think it was Tony Tickle. Tony Tickle? No. Oh, I know, I bet I've said his name wrong. If I said your name wrong, Tony, I'm very, very sorry, but look up there. He does some excellent stuff on his bonsai YouTube site, and definitely I'd put him in the realms of the Taxus experts. And again, also learn a lot from Ryan Neal, Bonsai Mirai. But anyway, let's get straight onto one of these. We'll go close up, and you don't have to look at my ugly mug. So I've gone for this Taxus first. The first thing to know about Taxus is they're one of the elongating species, so they'll elongate along like larches and stuff like that. But also they backbud profusely, and you can see all around here lots of little buds here and here and here, which makes them ideal. They respond well to pruning, especially this time of year, so you can prune hard, and this is all about selection of your young shoots. What I want to try and do now is, since this is going to be the height of the tree, I want to have my my taxus to be tight, compact growth, which means all these leggy, long bits here, I actually don't want. I really want to bring it in nice and tight, and because I know it's going to back bud, I'll be able to get better and better ramification in another year or two. But I've got to make sure the initial scaffolding, or sort of the primary and secondary branch work is good and is in place. And here it's had some rudimentary wiring done to it, and there's a lot of potential there. But I think if I'm a bit harder on it now, we might see some good stuff coming in the future. So first thing to do is clean up all around the base here. Just pull out all little root, all little stuff you don't want. Now obviously everything in here I don't need, and I just rub this stuff out. If it's a little bit longer growth, I can pull it out. And for those of you who think I talk too much, that's fine. I do tend to talk a lot, and I know sometimes, you know, you're happier to watch. That's all right. You can turn the sound down. I love the sound of my voice. That's my problem. So I'm just saying, cleaning the crutches out. Any weak growth, we don't want any energy being wasted there. None of these are going to be useful to me. So if I'm looking at the front being, well, let's have a look and see. The front at the moment, obviously we've got it set up like that. I'm probably looking at the front being looking in that way. I'm not sure what the roots are like under there, but with that in mind, starting at the bottom, I've got to make early decisions. But here, I've got good branches. I've got a branch coming out here, one there, one there, one there, little ones here, but they're all long and leggy. And I've got this one here, and I've got to decide whether that one's going to get removed. And by the way, before anyone says yes, I've got three basically coming out from the same point, but I'm not worried about that particularly. So here I've got some roots growth coming out of the crotch there. I don't really want that. So let's get rid of that, clear that up a bit. Do I want that? That's, if I have that, that is going to go across the front of what I perceive may well be the front of the tree. So at this stage I'm going to take decision and remove it and open that out. As I say, it's still in development. They back bud profusely, so if it doesn't turn out how I want it, then I can always wait, and I'm sure another one. So the first thing I want to do, I want tight, compact growth. I want to stop the energy shooting out this way, and I want it to be fed to 1, 2, 3. So looking back there, they're healthy, and I'm going to cut it back to there. So now what we've got is those three. So if we move further along on this branch, we've got this coarse one there. We've actually got new growth coming out of there. And this instance, if I stay with my principles, what I really want is keep compact, sort of fan-shaped pad here, which means I've got to lose this and see if that's going to grow. Also got something else coming out from there. A lot of crotch growth there. A lot of crotch growth there. Now I also know that if I cut these back, which I might do in this instance, I will actually encourage growth. Latent buds within those can also grow. So I'm actually going to remove this unsightly crotch growth here. We've got another little one there. Now if that responds, that may become the new one. We've got something on the head here and here. Underneath, this long one here, just coming from underneath, coming out this way. That one I probably like, so I'll get rid of that one on top. There's something underneath here. Okay, This one isn't in keeping, so it's going to go. Quite a big decision, but if I'm trying to keep tight growth here, then there's not much point having that. Although, if I... no, because I've got something that's coming here, so I might use that as a replacement. So I am going to make a decision. Take that back. And hopefully what happens is all the energy will come into this new stuff now, and then if you look here, I've got this great big long leggy thing here. But there's a little shoot coming out there, so we're going to cut back to there. So what we've got here is much tighter pad there. Again, with this one as the main, we're going to just shorten, and I want to shorten that right back and see if we can encourage it to bud out. Looking at the pad shape, that may well be the longest part that we want. So that's going to go shorter. Okay. And as I say to you again, I mean, I'm relying on stuff that I've picked up from other creators and seen work. So it looks a little bit ropey right now, perhaps, but I'll get rid of some downward leaves. But yeah, so, and that's it. I want to keep it right in tight now, because I know this is coming out to here. That means whatever's up here has got to come within that. Now I've got here, it's quite long, but I've got this one here, then this one, then a couple here. I'm going to take a punt. So that certainly brings it inside. Try and then see which ones of these grow. At the moment, I mean, if I had more confidence, I'd probably take it even further back. But we'll see what happens there. And then again, looking into the profile of that, we're going to be bringing it in tighter. Do I want this one so close in? I'm going to say no. Okay, well actually let's start coming back over here now. It moves over to the right, so that's why what I want to do is the sort of your primary branch that you're looking towards is going to take you out that way, but we need something to come back this way too at the top, so the apex will come back over here. But here I'm going to use the same principle. Looking at that, I've got branch here, got a little stub of something here, got another little branch here, and then branches here. So I've got nothing here, but what I do need to do is to bring this back. So these ones I'm just pruning back. Don't know if I've got any buds already coming from in there. No, but staying consistent with size I'm looking for. There we go. Now what we've got there is a nice tighter compact pad there. And if you have a look, the next branch up, at the moment we've got it going up. Now I would have a choice, I could be wiring it, but I want to try and really avoid using wire here. So I've got one bud there, one little frond there, I've got one here, then two here. Now I could cut all the way back to here and see if those ones feed out, or I could just take it to here. And because at the moment I haven't actually seen how these respond, so I'm going to take it to there. Take that off. Upward growth. Remove. Okay, so now we have a look. We've got this one here. Still quite flexible. I'm just going to a bit tighter. We go further up here. Got this one coming out of that dead stump there. Not sure, but I'm just going to cut that tighter. Right here we've got two coming close out, and that area is really getting quite congested. So I'm going to actually remove that one. So Now it opens it up a bit. And underneath it there's another little one, which I'll also remove. It's almost on the bend. So we now start getting some more space for it. And that's the other thing, it's about sustainability. The more space and air you've got with this, I would think the better chance you've got that the thing's going to actually do well and prosper, as the Vulcan might say. Do well and prosper. So we've got an upward one here, which I'm not going to want. Upward one here, I'm not going to want. Then we've got this one that's going to come outside the profile. Again, the line I've got actually beneath it here, I've got a smaller one coming out, which is probably the one I really, really want. So I'm going to cut this one right back and just see if that one here, that little one there, see if that takes over. And then it's just about looking at what we've got. We've got another branch going that way. There's a little gap to the next two here. So I'll probably shorten that and shorten that. So tight, so now we see how it's developing tight, much more compact, and with the size of the tree it starts making a lot more sense. So we've got an odd branch back here, which really needs wiring, but there's a shoot coming out there. I'm not sure right now. I might. To be fair, it's quite new growth, so this is one of those cases where I'm actually going to let it develop, and if that wants to keep shooting out, that's fine, because that's two. So happy with what we've got here. Do you know what, I'm not. I'm going to take a better punt on this. Okay, happy with what we've got there. Happy there. Happy there. So now we're bringing ourselves up into the upper third of it. So if that's going to be the front, our back here has got this interesting curve. But what have we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't need it to be anywhere near that long, so I'm going to take off all that. So then we're left with these fronds here. We've got a frond here coming from the base, and one up there that's right in the crotch. We don't want that. This is going to be too long. This one's actually divides here into two smaller. It's quite close to the trunk line, but I'm going to remove it because we've got something opposite it, so we'll remove that. Okay. So we've got underneath here, we've got something there, but we've also got 1, 2, they're opposite each other. We've got a little bit of growth here. Now I've got to decide with that, if you look at the way the tree's coming up, say the front's somewhere here, the sort of shape of it means that the height isn't going to be anywhere above here. So looking straight away at the top here, let's cut right back. We don't want it higher than that. And you could argue that we've got loads of little, I don't know if you can see here, that's the one, we don't want that in there. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. So I could actually be a little bit stronger, take that whole top off and see what comes from this. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, probably end up removing that. And we've got this one that could come out here. So I've got to just say now about this great big thing, which is completely out of keeping with the whole thing in terms of the thickness of that branch versus where we are in the apex of the tree. I've got this little growth here, which is actually just the right, proportionally wise, ideal. And because of the amount of growth I've got here, I'm actually going to take a chance on this and remove that. Now what we look at, hopefully, is something that's a lot tighter, a lot less leggy, and my aim is that hopefully these will take over and I'll be able to cut back again, or we may get some growth coming here to bring it nice and dense and start using these to form actual type pads. Ideally these will grow and I'll actually cut lower down again, so that this one here doesn't end up interfering with this. But although every part of me says I probably could cut that now, I just want to see what happens. It's as much about me learning. If you look at the back here on this bit, I could actually there's some cleaning up to do here, because at the moment that's going to cross that line, this branch here. Eventually that's going to cross across the back, and then we're going to have crossing, whereas I've got the opportunity with this one actually to get rid of that, so I will. So we will get rid of that. We've got a little, what's that growth coming from there? Okay, I want to get rid of that little crotch growth. Got these little ones here, we'll see what happens with those. Okay, there we go. So, as it stands right now, that's all I intend to do with that for now. I'm going to do exactly the same with all the others. No need to wire. Again, if I was ever going to wire this, you wouldn't wire the fronds, but what you'd try and do is wire the primary branches, so you could wire those down if you want. That would give you your perpendicular or your straight. But no, I want to try and avoid wiring on something like this. As I say, they respond well to pruning. And we might actually start seeing some proper development on this. Because I've done a load of pruning on this, I'm going to certainly put some food on it, give it a little bit of fertilizer, miracle biogold. But as those who've dealt with yew, it is a very, very hard wood. Very, very hard. So it may not look like much, but hopefully, as I say, now I'm starting to see at least a shape to it that looks like it's been worked on. Alright, so that's the yew. Good on you. Just thought I'd bring you in on this one. Again, I've done the same principle. Lovely split trunk and dead wood all coming up here. Love it. This is probably going to be the front for this, but all I've done the same thing, cleaned it out, shortened, and just gone for much smaller fronds, and just see it shoots to see what happens. Same here, all down. So all I've got to do now is sort out this part here. Obviously it's leaning over that way, and I've just got to select with all this growth how far back am I going to bring it. And if you actually look, there's so much growth there that, in keeping with that tree, it needs to be, you could almost take an argument, you could actually bring it back here, but I'm probably going to bring it in here. So I've got one there, I've got one shoot there, so let's just try that. A bit straight. It's not to say that this can't grow out and I can let this bunch up, but at the moment what we'll have here, if I leave it like that, I've got this one growing up, which is nice and healthy, but I've got one behind it as well, and there's quite a long space there, so I'm actually going to take that one as well. And then let's have a look and see here. We've got two here, another one here, got this one growing upwards, which I don't want. Okay, got something growing from here, don't want, and we'll just shorten this one. There we go. So, looking extremely naked in comparison to how it looked before. And to be honest, I'll be really interested to see how this responds to such a heavy prune. Let's get some biogold in there. But yeah, again, I want the growth in, I want it to get a lot closer in. If I start getting buds closer in, ideally I want to try and get something coming off here or here, so I can bring the growth in really compact and tight. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's too long, but I might well, if that grows out, be able to wire that way, but it's too thin to wire now. So anyway, so that's that one. Even there you've got some lovely, but it's such hard wood, it's brilliant, it doesn't rot. takes, well, if it does, I'm sure it does, but it just takes ages to rot. So it is an ideal, a bit like juniper, ideal for doing dead wood with. Yeah, so yep, that's that one. Okay, and then I don't know, there was one that was originally crammed into this little thing. Again, it wasn't doing any good, so redisturbed it, put it into this nice big pot, trimmed it a little bit, but I really want to see if we get some really decent growth on this. I think it's going to be better for it in the long term. I mean, those two trees in that little thing there, they weren't developed. With the sort of lack of space it had in there was no way the roots were ever going to get enough energy or anything to be able to put any decent growth on these things. And that's what you've got to say sometimes. If you're looking to really develop your tree and get more out of it, if you already crammed it into a small pot, then it ain't going to happen quickly, if at all. So my advice is, if your initial enthusiasm has got you putting it into a small pot and you want more from your tree, just get it into a much bigger pot and use the skills that you're picking up as you go along to make it better. Anyway, that's that one. Anyone who is wondering, that's how the oaks are looking now. They're all in full leaf, absolutely magnificent. We're due to give them their post-flush pruning probably in another 2 or 3 weeks' time. Incredible growth on them. I think I've had one where I've had it die off, so I'm really happy with that. So it's a big hello to you all from the middle of the garden. Xavier here, and just as this is going to tack on to the end of the yew video, I'm trying to decide what I'm going to be tackling next. I'll give you a pan round in a minute, but this is a combination of all the Yamadoris and got Scots pines. Got this, I think you've seen this before, Potentilla. Though I don't think there's much work I can do on that right now. But I've got quite a few Yamadori larch, quite a few things to be working on. But I just thought I'd see if anyone's got a particular preference. I mean, I have got a great big load I've got to do on larches, so it won't be a larch. But and I think I'll be doing the Scots pines in another 3 or 4 weeks. A few more needles I've got to pinch, and there's obviously the Chinese elms that are going to need pruning very, very soon. We've got the hawthorns. They're probably, I mean, I might need to take a few branches off them, but that's really just to start the primary structure. I think we've got that interesting thing down there. It's a small leaf lime. But again, I think all I'll be looking to do is to do some wiring on that. What have we got in here? Gosh, we've got some silver birch. And there, I think we've got a few what I call it's a New Zealand plant, oleander, or you've got the title's going to be up there in a second. I want some help actually. Does anybody know what that is? It's very, very prolific in the Orkney Islands. I've got a few of them. There's one other one over there. See if we can see it properly. Sitting there beside the lemon and the hornbeam. Yes, if anyone can tell me what that is, be much appreciated. Yeah, it's probably just a case of tidying up and neatening. There's down there, Dawn Redwood. That was a cutting I took 3-4 years ago, and that's doing very, very well. Doing that later in the year. There's the olives over there actually. They seem to have come on pretty well. I'm not sure if you can see them amongst that. I can't see, my eyesight's so bad I can't really tell. some hornbeam there, some beech. Yeah, not sure. I think we'll find something to do. I may actually have a little look at doing some wiring on that juniper. But I think what is actually going to happen is I'm going to be working on these beech. These were dug up in 2017 from Avalon Nurseries. I think there's some Italian elder in front. In fact, there's some wire on that Italian elder that needs to come off. We've also got pruners there as well. But yeah, so I think I'll be doing some primary work on those. Maybe a little bit more wiring. I've also got to wire that again. Don't know if you can see that properly, but it's my holly. I want to get that branch down. Yeah. So anyway, it's a farewell from Xavier at the lower patio, and I'll pick something myself if no one says. But if anyone has spotted something while that camera's been panning around, they want to see me work on, then drop something in the comment. And if you want to make sure you see it, then please subscribe and even hit the ding, the notification button. I haven't worked out how to make that come up on the actual video itself on YouTube, but I'm not that bothered. But anyway, yeah, so let me know if there's anything you want to see that you've either seen now or in the past. Otherwise, it's down to me again. So, from Xavier, cheers. Oh, there's a little extra bit I couldn't resist. Finally I got my Jades outside. And it's incredible when you watch the leaves, or the pears or whatever, they go their different colour. Fantastic. I'll be working on those actually in a few weeks' time as well. Taking some more cuttings probably. Yeah. Whole load of those there. Anyway, this is definitely ciao.